Kano State Independent Electoral Commission, KANSIEC, has said it will not back down on the nomination fees for the upcoming chairmanship and councillorship elections in the state, despite strident criticisms from some political parties and other stakeholders. The commission had fixed 10 million naira and 5 million naira nomination fees for the chairmanship and councillorship positions respectively. The chairman of the commission, Professor Sani Malumfashi, dismissed the complaints by the opposition, saying that there was no going back on the amount. Malumfashi said that the commission fixed the fees, having assessed the inflationary trend in the country, characterized by high prices of goods and services. So, the inflation has come to play, and the fees are humongous. The fees, 10 million and 5 million naira for councillorship, for chairmanship and councillorship, and that's a state that has 44 local government areas. Do you think that it is fair enough? And they are saying they are not going to back down.
First is KANSIEC buying and selling. Let's understand, because let's understand some nitty-gritty. Are they buying and selling that they now talk about inflationary figures, that what feeds them? Because I think we're joking with certain things that can cause problem to us in future. What gives life to them is the law of Kano State. In other words, these persons who are supposed to conduct elections are public holders, funded by public money. In other words, every money the KANSIEC will use to conduct election in Kano State has been budgeted for. Public money. Nothing. Same way, imagine if the INEC national chairman says that all political parties will pay 10 million naira. How? The first thing you ask is that, have you now become an agency that generates funds? They are not agencies that generate funds. It is never there. Theirs is to use public funds to conduct public elections that will bring in public people to serve in public offices. At no time should they be debating on how much a particular political party should receive. In other words, where do they want to pay that money into? Kano State or where? How? They are never a generating agency. Never. They are supposed to conduct election. They are supposed to be apolitical. In other words, they are now saying what the opposition. Who is opposition? For a man who is conducting election, knows an opposition. Who is opposition? To you, it is like that woman in the court of law whose eyes has been blindfolded. Yours is to say political party A has obeyed all rules, submitted their candidate. You go ahead. A, you have not. Oh, we have a deadline. You saw when we were talking about INEC that says the law said 30 days before election.
Exactly.
So they are not supposed to be a generating agency that should generate money for Kano State. No, they are supposed to conduct election. In other words, all of the money that they use is budgeted for. If it is not enough, they should go back and do what we call the supplementary budget to get more funds from Kano State government. It is not a generating agency to now decide, because sometimes we might now look and say, okay, probably as they term that now opposition, maybe they cannot even afford it. Why don't we even charge them 1 billion? That is where you see that there could be abuse. If these ones charge 10 million today, others might charge 500 million, knowing fully well that these political parties cannot afford that money. And so for me, people should rise up to the occasion and go to court and set aside that order for them to pay 10 million and 5 million naira respectively. It is illegal. KANSIEC is not a generating agency by law. Now let me ask, does KANSIEC has the data to conduct elections? No. Do they have the sensitive and non-sensitive material? No. All of those things belongs to INEC. Is INEC charging them for money? Absolutely no. And so how can they charge contestants, political parties, money? When did they become a generating agent? So I think the people involved should go to court and set aside that order. That order is null and void. It's illegal. Because KANSIEC is not a generating agency. And it should not be allowed by law to generate any money from anyone. This is illegal. I imagine they are using the word inflationary. How does that happen? What mathematics? Are you saying that we must pay for our ballot papers? No, I should not pay for the ballot paper I will use to go and vote. Nobody should do that. That is why it is budgeted for, debated at the State House of Assembly to say this is how much we needed to conduct that elections. To then come and tell me that you needed this money because what inflationary, what are you saying? It is only the political parties that can fix any amount to people who want to participate in an election. It is not. Yes, it is not the electoral body putting money to say and now referring in its own statement that opposition party, who is an opposition party to you? It is other political parties that refer to others as opposition, not the electoral body. Imagine that Professor Atairu, is it Jagai's name now? No. Mahmoud or something. Mahmoud Yakubu. He's now saying oppositions are the one. You are finished. You are finished if you ever mention that. But this is what is happening in Kano State. Unfortunately, people should go to court and set aside that order.
Okay, sir. Being that the sheriff in charge of that state, Abba Yusuf, and the New Nigeria People's Party has been touting themselves as the change that Nigeria needs. This is a fresh list. They are different from other political parties in handling of public affairs. And right now, they have set a standard where it will be very difficult for the opposition in Kano State to actively participate in these elections. Do you think that NNPP and the governor of Kano State are setting good examples? Are they different from other political parties, or are they still towing the same line of other political parties?
Unfortunately, part of what we had a conversation on was that when people come to office, they are forgotten that they are governing that state. They are leaning towards their political parties. And it is very obvious for the blind to see that in governance, this set of persons are leaning into a political party. And if there are any obstacles laid on the way of any opposition party, as said by them, I think that is why we have the court of law. Go to court and enforce that every unnecessary obstacles to a conduct of free and fair election is set aside. Go to court. Once a court gives a judgment, the governor do not have power to so say that, this is what will happen. People should go to court and challenge the power. Sometimes, I think part of the things that we lack here is that we complain and then leave it there. When we now complain, they continue what they are doing. But I think the political parties who have capacity to do some of these things should go ahead and challenge those things in court, so that we should have precedents in future to say they did it in Kano. It was set aside by this judge, by this court. So for me, I do not feel that the position of the Kano State government make in placing obstacle in any opposition make any sense. Let them go to court where the same political party feel. I'm not in Kano. I do not understand the politics in Kano, but I think politics all over, or democracy all over, is the same thing. People coming out to vote and making sure that the election is free and fair. Where they perceive, other political parties perceive that there will be an injustice to them, they should go to court and set those orders aside.
Okay, sir.